This podcast was brought to you by Uncle Geeb Productions. Hey guys, and welcome everyone to the Triple G Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Geeb, and with me is Host Media Gaming. We record this podcast live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, or anywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can also become a member of this YouTube channel if you so choose. You get extra podcast content per month. We share some behind-the-scenes stuff every now and again, and it's a nice little community that we're building here in the podcast community. So make sure to click the link down below to become a YouTube member of the podcast. Drip, how are you doing this week?
Fantastic, Geeb. I'm doing fantastic. It's been such a great week. That's sarcasm.
Yeah, I figured it was, because listen, it's funny how our lives...
Okay, listen, it's been a good week. Today, it's just been today.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with other work things that don't deal with YouTube or podcast things, and it's been a day. Other than today, it's been a pretty good week. I saw Gran Turismo last night.
Yeah.
That was good.
Awesome.
Holiday weekend. Kyle Larson won on Sunday.
Hey,
so that was
play a cheer
awesome.
for yourself and Kyle.
Yeah, I mean that was great. Plus, he's on to the next round of the playoffs now, so I don't have to worry about that for another 2 weeks. That was great. Other than that, man, been working and stuff. I haven't done a YouTube video this week. How's your week been?
Listen, my last few weeks, basically at this point, it's been a month, has been kind of like not great. There's been like a cloud over me since I got back from vacation, and I've been trying to deal with it. And I mentioned it sometimes in the pre-show. If you're here for the streams, I've mentioned a few times what's going on with my car. But yeah, and my personal life in general. I need to get my personal life in order, man. We got to get my ducks in a row. Shut up. You can't say it. I can say it. You can't say that. But I need to get my personal life in order.
Get your shit together, Geeb!
No, I really do. I'm working on it. We're working on it. First step is the vehicle. And the vehicle...
I'm sorry. That was me.
That was me. And the vehicle is nearly situated here. So I'm feeling optimistic today. That's how I'm feeling. Optimistic for the future.
Good. I like it.
Yeah, any beers of the week for you this week, my good friend?
Nothing special. I don't think. Do we need to do a whole section on beer of the week this week?
No, but it's always fun to play the music, though.
Okay, well, where's the music? We got the music. I got it right here.
No, he's faded out.
Yeah, we'll let the music come in here a little bit.
Anything fancy for you this week, my friend?
It's nothing fancy. I've got some leftovers. That's basically all that's here. I grabbed a few of them, but it's the good old the Cayman Jack margaritas.
Yeah. No doubt. Those things are...
They're a classic, man. They're just good.
They are just good. They really are.
That's it.
They're
just good.
I got a Bush Peach.
Bush Peach. I'm telling you, man, Bush Peach is gone. It's gone. I haven't seen it here in like a month. It's gone.
Really? They're probably just getting some... They're probably just preparing, or they don't have enough stock. They're creating demand by supply. Is my guess.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not stocking it on shelves here. I can tell you that.
Well, I remember back when Bush Apple was a thing, you were getting Bush Apple, and I couldn't find any Bush Apple. So I think it's just a regional thing, just by chance, by luck, that kind of thing. I don't think they're holding out on you on purpose. I think they're producing it. You're just unlucky right now.
I think they know I want it, and they're holding it from me. That's what I think.
If you guys want to submit your beers of the week to us, make sure to hop over to Twitter X and send us over your submission. You can send a photo, a little description. We'll read and your beer in the podcast and share the photo and everything. So thank you guys for the beer of the week drip. A shorter show tonight, I feel like, is what it's going to end up being. But we'll start off with something that probably should have been our headliner. But let's be honest, I wasn't trying to remake a thumbnail title. So here we are. Oh, my computer just made noise. But here we are. We have Tears of the Kingdom DLC news, and it's not the good kind. Sounds like... Now, it depends on the way you read this translation. I'm going to pull up this article for myself. I don't need to show. Can I show us on screen? Is this ready? No, it's not ready. I set it up right. So here's the Aonuma. That's the leader of Zelda, basically, right? He's the head director. Here's his direct translation from Japanese to English. Here's his quote. "There are no plans to release additional content this time, but that's because I feel we've done everything we can to create fun in that world. In the first place, that reason I decided to make a sequel to previous work was because I thought there was value in experiencing a new game in that Hyrule place. If that's the case, if a new reason arises, we might return to the same world again. whether it's a sequel or a new work, I think it's going to be a completely new game. So I hope you're looking forward to it. So Drip, anything you can immediately gather from that quote?
Yeah.
Off the cuff here?
I mean, I think the first and obvious thing is the next Zelda is not going to be there.
See, I don't see that as obvious. To me, it's a possibility, and it's a high possibility.
Okay.
But it's not obvious.
I think it's obvious because we do know this. The teams who work on these games, when that one's done, if they're not doing DLC, they're on to the next. They're already working on the new idea. And the fact that he is saying that they don't have anything right now for this new world and that they could come back to it at some point, it's not off the table to come back to it later, means they're already on to something else. It means whatever the next thing is probably already in the works. So we're not coming back here. My question to you is, how do you feel about that? Because I do want to bring something up, and weekly listeners will know. Geeb said this either last week, which is crazy, or the week before, that he's not sure how he feels about moving on from this Zelda and Link to a new Zelda and Link in the timeline somewhere else, like we have in the past with basically every other Zelda game. Geeb is a Zelda newbie. He came in with Breath of the Wild. He's going back and experiencing some of this stuff now, but he has a fond attachment to this Link and Zelda. So I want to know how you feel about all this.
I'll be honest. I feel like last week I was in a bit of my feels. And this week I feel like I'm in less of or in a different place, I should say. Not less of my feels. I'm just in a different place this week. I kind of feel like now, after I watched a bunch of Tears of the Kingdom Zelda content the last week, because I've been really like, I don't know, man. I'm a nerd. You get Zelda crap everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, and you're into it right now. It's fine.
I'm super into it. But I've been watching lots of Zelda content on YouTube. I've been playing a lot of Zelda on my TV, Switch, and I've been like purposely immersing myself. Like I've been putting on headphones, like immersing, because that I find the most enjoyment with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I get the most enjoyment when I truly immerse myself. Like, for example, when we got the collector edition, we brought it home the first. Abby put her headphones on the TV over there. I put my headphones on over here at the computer and immersed myself. Turned the sound all the way up. And I guess what I'm trying to get at here is I'm having a great time with Tears of the Kingdom. We were talking in the pre-show. I'm 50% done. And I'm looking forward to finishing the other 50%. I can't wait. However, kind of doing this reflecting right now and remember how I felt last week and how this past week has gone with playing Zelda and watching the content. I come to a new conclusion.
Okay.
I'm ready for a new game.
Oh, Geeb is ready. Geeb is ready. His body is ready.
At this point, Drip, I mean, this is nothing compared to some people out there who's played thousands of hours in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom combined. Like, I'm nothing compared to those people. But in terms of like how I play games, I think I have at this point over 500 hours minimum, at least. I mean, I streamed 250 hours of Breath of the Wild alone back in 2020, 2021 when I was doing lots of streaming. Like and then on top of that, I probably played at least 150 hours on my own Breath of the Wild, and now Tears of the Kingdom I played 150 almost. I got hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I loved every second of it. And I can't wait to play another 150 hours to finish out my other half of the game I still need to complete. But I'm ready. The art style to me is, and that was my big holdup, is I can't imagine another world, let alone another Zelda and Link, visually. I like looking different than the way they do right now. Yeah, I can't. They will. I can't visualize it. And let
me ask you this.
But to a bow on my thing there, I'm ready for a new game.
Okay, before we talk about new game, let's go back to the actual thing we're discussing here. The fact that there's not going to be DLC for this game.
So, okay, I want to address that as well because I don't
think that's a big deal. I think there's plenty to do with this game already. There's so much.
Are you saying like, well, I'm not. So, Drew, I'm not assuming there's no DLC. I know the headlines have said no DLC. That's what's getting the clicks right now, obviously. But I don't read this quote and I don't get no DLC. I get that they're not focusing on it right now and there's no plans right now. It does not mean that in a few months, when they have a Switch 2 announcement, and when they re-release Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2, that there's not going to be DLC involved. You know what I mean?
I feel like if they're saying that there's no plans for it now, that I feel like in a couple months, I don't know. I'm not with you on that. I don't think there's any DLC. I don't think there's any coming. I think that's pretty definitive right there, saying it's not happening.
Can I just say I agree with you? All I'm trying to say is that when I read this quote, I don't hear, like I'm reading it back to myself, and you gotta remember too, this is translated, so there's a
translation.
There's
always stuff lost in the sauce.
Yeah. So I read this and go, I think that there's a possibility that there will be DLC down the road. How far down the road, if at all, who knows? But the only thing we know is that right now they're not working on anything DLC wise. So that's a little disappointing. But I think the door has been left open for not only DLC, but a sequel in this high roll.
Okay. Yes. The door, you're 100% right about. The door has been left open, but that's not the next thing we're getting. We could come back, which is something they've never done. But again, we've never done an absolute direct sequel the way they've done it. Yes, we've had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which are sequels, but they're completely different games. This game was an actual sequel in the same place with the same people, dealing with the same things. So it's very possible that they could take that same idea and be like, yeah, we're going back. Like we have this other Zelda game. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they go back to, they just pull the whole open world thing back just a little bit and go back to a little bit more traditional Zelda for the next one.
Yeah.
And then one after that, they're like, guess what? Third one in this trilogy for these. I mean, that would be cool. And I mean,
you think they would do that?
We're seeing them do different things now. So maybe
you really think they would skip, like go to, like you just said, go to a traditional one, and then a few years later go back to open world? You really think they would do that?
Well, they go from 2D to 3D.
Why not? They haven't done that in so long though.
No, it's been a long time. But again, they haven't done a direct sequel to a Zelda game ever. So I don't know. It's really hard to even try to predict what they're going to do because we're in uncharted territory when it comes to what they're okay with doing with Zelda at this point. I mean, I got Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's normal now, but we got voice acting. There was never even voice acting in Zelda games before. That was wild. It's crazy. And now that's like, oh yeah, of course there's voice acting.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the things that they brought in with this type of a Zelda game, going back to something like that, and it doesn't even have to go back. I just think it's going to be different. I don't think they're going to do in the next Zelda game. If we're taking what he said here, I feel like they're doing new things, like the whole physics engine and everything that was about that world and the way things work. I feel like they'll probably take some aspects of that. But we're going to see something. There's going to be a new thing that's like the big, like this is what it's about. Like we took those with us. Yes, there's these things. That's all in there. But it's going to be something completely different. Aliens. For sure.
Get time travel. That's old news.
It's absolute aliens.
You just want an excuse to play that sound. That's all you want. Your new toy. I don't know, man. I'm excited either way. I think I've been rejuvenated right now, short term, but also long term. I'm really looking forward to seeing because this is Tears of the Kingdom is my first Zelda game that's been released while I've been a mega fan. But the next game is going to be the first game, presumably, that really changes from what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Zelda.
And I think it's going to be something different.
I'm excited for that. Unknown excites me. Some people that might scare them, but for me that excites me because, like, ooh, what are we gonna get? Like, what are they gonna do? I mean, the art style alone. Forget about the story for it. Just the art style alone. Like, man, what could they do? Like, with modern graphics, presumably on a new Switch.
I know. Where I always go back. I always go back to the Zelda. They showed us. I think it was during that. You know how deep I just went into the Wii U.
Yep.
I think it was whenever they announced the Wii U and they showed that Zelda. It was running on Wii U hardware.
Yes, yeah.
But it looked like Twilight Princess, but like HD.
Yeah.
Crazy. It looked like he was in like the Temple of Time fighting a spider.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so sick. Give me that. I've wanted that forever. I want that.
Well,
I want that Link.
We can do better than that, though. Nowadays, we can do better than that.
I just want that art style. I want that art style. Yeah, I want it better, but I want that art style.
That art style was great. but it was clearly a demo. Like, it wasn't a tech demo.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if they can make that a reality, yeah, I think that would be amazing.
Well, I mean, something they showed, what? In 2000... What year?
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to think of when they showed that. Was it
2011? It was around Skyward Sword. Wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was. So, yeah, 2012-ish, 2011-ish, yeah. If they can't make that run on something that comes out in 2024, God help us. Because, good Lord. I would imagine they could probably get something at least close to that running on the Switch, too.
Yeah.
But listen, back to the DLC really quick.
Yeah.
I don't think this game needs it. I think this game was supposed to be, like, all the ideas that they had for DLC for this world are this game. That's why they did what they did. They put out those 2 little DLCs for Breath of the Wild, and they were talking. There's plenty of interviews where they're talking about that's the whole reason the game was made. It was going to be DLC, but we had so many ideas, we wanted to just make a full game. And I mean, yeah, I'm sure they probably came up with some new ideas that maybe didn't make the cut for this game.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like, you can't keep saying, oh, well, we have new ideas. Save them. Save them for the next Zelda. It's good. I'm sure there are probably some ideas that they came up with during the development of Tears of the Kingdom that they were like, you know what? No, just put that one over here. We'll put that in this bag, and we're going to take that bag with us when we open up the table here to see what we're going to do with the next Zelda. We'll dump that shit out on the table once we get to that point. I bet that happened, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. Man. I think that we want DLC more than we... I think with Breath of the Wild, I think, not that it was needed necessarily, but it was definitely helpful because I felt like the story-wise, it was a bit barren, especially when you compare it to Tears
that's
of the
what I'm saying.
Kingdom.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What would you want out of, like, you say we want it more than we need it. What would you want out of DLC from Tears of the Kingdom?
Man, I was just saying to myself and Mrs. Geeb the other night what I wanted. Something specific.
I want story. More story.
Story.
Yeah.
I want explanations of...
Yeah, because the story was good. We just need, like,
can't remember
backstory on that.
Backstories on certain things is what I really want to get down. Want to get down to nitty what's going on. I can't remember right now. I wish I would have written it down or something, but there are definitely certain things story-wise that I'm like, there's a hole there. I would love them to fill in some gaps.
I'd like to go a little bit deeper in, like, Zelda in the past. Like, all the tears and stuff are revolved around her in the past. Like, I would like to see a little bit more of Ganondorf in that period and what's going on out there. Like, you know what I mean? I would like that expanded upon. Like, and not just like what was happening at the castle while Zelda was there. What's happening elsewhere? What's Ganondorf doing? Like, we saw a little bit of his little plans here and there, but man, like, what's he doing out there? How do things work out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we go out there in present day in the game, and it's a completely different. Like, it's not like it was in those flashbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Like, that looked cool. I bet it's wild out there. It reminds me of like Ocarina of Time. When you go out to the Gerudo Desert in Ocarina of Time, like, they hate you. Like, don't come here. Like, get out. Like, it's just you're getting thrown in jail and shit. Like, I don't know. I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you play as Zelda and you have to go do some secret
missions.
missions.
Was one thing we thought that was going to be in this game, if you recall. 2-player with Zelda, at least in some capacity.
I mean,
which we kind of got.
I wasn't banking on that.
Not 2-player, but we definitely saw Zelda walking around in the world, which that was something I thought we were going to see, and we did see it. At the very beginning of the game, we saw Zelda walking around.
We did.
And in the actual game itself, not to talk about, we have a whole spoiler episode. If you guys didn't see our Tears of the Kingdom spoiler podcast, it's for members only. Make sure to click the link down below to check that out. So we won't get into spoilers here for obvious reasons, but that was, I lost my train of thought. No, I was plugging our.
Oh man,
I lost my train of thought.
I can help you.
I lost my train of thought. I feel like we've kind of wah, wah, wah. No.
It's off the rails.
Stop
it's
it.
off the rails.
No, you don't get to use that sound. No, stop it. Making a new sound.
The air raid.
Hey, Drip, you should. Okay, fine. Play the sound because Drip. We have an announcement. We have a sponsor for this episode. It's that time of the episode to talk about our sponsor for this episode, Leaf and Bed Gardening and Consulting and Partner. If we keep doing that sound during our sponsor spots, they're never going to want to re-up with us.
Yeah, we won't do that anymore.
but seriously, guys, today's sponsor, Leaf and Bed. Hey, Drip, you and I spent a lot of times looking at our screens. Whether streaming, YouTubing, all that kind of stuff. We're gaming. We're big gamers, but sometimes it's nice to get out and touch some grass. Would you agree?
Actually touch some grass. Yes, I agree. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, actually, Geeb.
Whether you're in a college dorm, apartment, or your own home, you probably have thought about having some plants to spice up the place. Some examples, Drip. Growing your own mint, tossing in the cocktail, some basil.
I got some mint.
Put some basil into pasta to impress your partner. Some dope indoor plants. Like I know that you have, Drip. I know you got a bunch of those.
I have a ton.
Or if you have a house and stuff, your full home garden. It's chances are you've at least thought about playing around with the idea of some wildlife out there in your garden or in your house. But you may need some help keeping those plants looking and tasting fresh. But searching online for information for all that can be like a big hassle. I'm sure you've had experience with that. I can't speak too hard from my personal experience. But Leaf in Bed can really help you out there. They can really get you off. They can start you off at a better place and save yourself some time by working with them. Coaching sessions can teach you some new gardening skills and maintaining what you have or what you want to get. Consultations, they offer that to help you plan or design your projects, your gardening projects with your gardening partner. You also have some custom services that are available to you if you have like some unique projects and ideas that you need specific tailoring. Drip, I know that you have first-hand experience not only with house gardening, but Leaf in Bed themselves. You have done the service. How do you feel about your experience with the service?
Okay, so I honestly, I was really excited about this. We talked about this last week a little bit. I was super excited about doing this. We got to do it it was a little bit earlier this week. It was kind of the first one, and we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this for about 4 weeks probably. So I'm gonna kind of come back and let everybody know how it's going. But the first one was great. We went around. We talked about some things that I was concerned about, especially with the weather changing. I'm trying to bring a lot of plants inside, and you can't just bring the plants in. You have to. If they're happy in what they're in, we got to leave them there. We got to talk about drainage, light, a lot of things I didn't even think about, honestly. Grow lights, certain places in my house where I thought I couldn't put plants, but I definitely can. Yeah. Lots of things I didn't think of, lots of tips. It was great. I can't wait. I can't wait to the next one, honestly. I'm really into my plants right now, as you know, Geeb. Yeah. It's kind of an addiction. Every time I go out, I seem to come home with a new one. But at this point, I am now learning how to take care of each one of them, exactly how they need me to take care of them. And I don't know. I'm very happy about it. I'm very excited for the next call. I think we're going to do some other fun stuff, but I'll definitely keep everybody posted as we go forward with that.
For sure. You guys can schedule your virtual consultation to answer your questions, discuss your goals for as little as $28. You guys can visit www.leafandbed.com. That is leafandbed.com. If you guys mention the Drip Gene podcast, you can get 20% off your consultation. Just go ahead and mention Drip Gene podcast, whether you're on the phone with them or if you're going to their website and getting their services online. So thank you.
It's $28?
$28 for your consultation. And 20%.
I didn't know that.
And 20%.
Obviously with the sponsorship, I didn't know. That's a deal, dude. That is a deal. That is a great deal.
It might be.
For what I learned, Drip, I would pay way more than $28.
It might be a deal, if you know what I mean.
A deal.
Thank you, Leaf and Bed, for sponsoring today's episode.
A deal. Oh, God.
Big deal, Drip. It's a big deal. Make sure you guys go click that link.
It is. That's good. I like that.
Full disclosure. That's my sister. You guys go support her business. I'll be right.
Yeah, for sure. It is awesome. If you're into plants, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, can confirm. Awesome.
For sure. Impress all the people in your life with your tasty basil and mint in your Moscow mules. It's make sure do that.
I just like when people come over. I'm like, look how big they are. Aren't they impressive?
It's very impressive. And I was like, Drip, you need to do a little B-roll. Get like 15 seconds of your plant B-roll. Throw that up on.
I do. I need to get some plant B-roll going for next week. That's for sure. For sure. I've been using that whole plant area for B-roll on my like on my last video, that controller, I was like, yeah, you're going back in here. You're going to go back in. It's going to look real nice. You're going to sit back there. It's going to be great.
And it looks better because of Leaf in bed. Ha!
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, if you didn't know, September. Do you know what time it is, Drip? Actually, I'll ask you, Drip. Do you know what time it is in September? What happens in September? So quiet. It's so quiet.
It's not a Nintendo Direct, is it?
It might be a Nintendo Direct, Drip. We have a leak from, I can't remember how to pronounce it. I don't know how to spell it. There's the game developer who tweeted that there is going to be some news on their game specifically next week. And everyone kind of took that as
Thursday, specifically Thursday.
Next Thursday, which everyone kind of took that as, well, maybe that's probably going to be announced in a Direct, right? And I don't know, man. It's September. That's Direct season. We're currently in the season of fall, but we're also in the season of Directs. And I feel like it's very possible that we see a Direct this month, and maybe next week is the week. What do you think, Drew?
Geeb, Directs happen in September.
They do.
They happen every September.
Yeah.
It happened last September. It happened in September before that. Tell me a September it hasn't happened.
Drip, there was one particular September which we all thought. You know what we all thought, Drip? That there would be a Zelda September Direct.
No, hold on.
That has yet to come.
Pump the brakes.
That is yet to come, but I'm here to inform you that next week we're finally going to get that all coveted Zelda Direct in the form of of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess finally being ported to little Toon Link back there is so happy. Look at his smile. He's so excited for next week. He can't hold his excitement. We're getting it. I'm telling you.
Okay, first off,
right now,
let's not jump all the way to the Zelda yet.
No, I want to jump. No, right now.
I'm pulling the reins back here. Okay, Direct next week.
Yeah.
No, that would not surprise me.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, it's going to be next week or the next week, right? We get a Direct every September. This is not rocket science. We know it's coming.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like at this point, Nintendo should just schedule it out. Like, last month, they should have been like, it's going to be this date, just so you guys know. Like, we already know it's coming. I don't know why they're so like, why do they wait? Just tell us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, a September Direct. No shit. Yes, we're getting one. I think this week is a perfect time for it. It seems like there was an announcement today I thought that was weird, especially with like some Directs coming up. Like Borderlands 3 is coming to the Switch. Is that something we knew, or did they just drop that on Twitter this morning? Like,
I saw that on Twitter this morning, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, I think we knew that already. But I don't think
Borderlands is not like my I don't follow that a lot. And for some reason I was like, no, there's only 1 and 2, and then that other thing is 3 on. I don't know. Either way, I was like, well, that's weird if that's a new announcement and there's a Direct next week. So that was kind of like strange, but you know, it's Direct season. You're right. They've got their Mario stuff basically out of the way. They don't have to take a whole bunch of time with that. They'll probably mention it again, probably mention the amiibos that we didn't see at the Mario Direct, right? Because those are coming for sure, 100%. I mean, I don't know. What else do we see? We're not talking Zelda yet.
I can't remember.
Is this where they actually say Metroid Prime 4 is coming out? I mean,
I put it in the thumbnail because I thought it would get clicks if I put it there. I don't actually know if we're getting Prime 4.
I don't think we are either.
I think Prime 4 is going to come with the next system. I feel very strongly
I think
about
so
that.
too. At this point,
and I don't think this Direct is where we're getting next console from. Not even close. So.
No. I don't think so either.
That, I think the answer is no to that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. I don't think that's happening. I mean, there's lots of other stuff that I don't know. All the rumors. We can go back to we can go back to the rumor mill and start pulling shit out of our ass and see what sticks to the wall.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's been that huge thing everybody keeps talking about. All the other ones have started to kind of come true. Donkey Kong's still that one that we're waiting on, which I would like a new Donkey Kong. That'd be great. But
we're due for a lot of game. We're due for a new Yoshi game. It's been 4 years.
That's true too. Yeah, it's been a while. But are they going to put a second Yoshi game on the Switch?
Drip, we're due for a Mario game. Are they going to hold that?
No, they'll hold that.
They didn't hold the Zelda for the next system. They gave
it's too early. It's too early. Think about holding it a whole nother year. No way, because they haven't even announced this new 3D Mario thing yet. But think about that. We see that that is a next. That's the launch title of the next Switch. I don't think we see that here.
That's a minimum. That means minimum. The game's going to be another year out. The next Mario game. So that's 7 years. That's 7 years between Mario. That's a long ass time, dude. Like, don't you think that if they didn't hold Zelda back,
we've got Mario Wonder. We've got a 2D.
That is true. We did get a 2D.
It's kind of holding us over for next year for the big one.
We're getting a 2D. A 2D.
A little 2D. We're getting a little 2D. Yeah, we've got Wonder coming out in October.
Yeah, we are. I kind of overlooked that for some reason. Now
I feel like maybe they can. See, that's the thing. If the Mario thing is a next gen Switch title, do they even talk about it yet? Do they even mention it until they show the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Probably the next. I think the 3D stuff will headline the next Switch. I don't think that's like crazy to say either.
No, it's not.
But what is kind of crazy to think about is it really has been 7. It will be 7 years by the time we see next Mario 3D game, which is crazy. And because you can also say this, Drip, we did get. You can say Tears of the Kingdom was 6 years in the making. You can say that. It's true, but don't forget, we did get Link's Awakening remake in between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. 2D Zelda game.
Well, and we got
brand new, but
we did, and we got Skyward Sword HD,
and it might as well have been brand new, dude. Because no offense to 2D Mario, but it's not. But there's no story involved, so like that emotional like connection with the game isn't really there with Mario. It's incredibly fun, and you can love the franchise, but as far as individual games. You love the gameplay, but there's no story. Like that's why I feel like Zelda's different than Mario, in my opinion. Again, each to their own. Obviously, I'm not taking anything away from Mario people, but like that connection with Mario just isn't there, even with the biggest fan. I feel because they love the gameplay, and they're looking forward to the gameplay. But as far as the story, there's nothing. So I don't know why I brought that up, other than make people mad. So that's probably why I did that.
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it. I'm trying to look at something here. I want to figure out, because you just said like 7 years between the 3D Marios. I want to see, there wasn't a 3D Mario on the Wii U. I'm trying to see what, so it was what? It was Galaxy 2.
Wow, really?
And then Odyssey, right? There wasn't any between that, right?
They waited a long time. I didn't really realize that till this moment that they just.
That's what I'm trying to find out right now, because I think that's true.
Wow. Why do they do that? Why do they do that with Mario games? 3D Mario games. Why do they do that?
Okay, we have.
I mean, unless you count 3D World, which
Mario Galaxy 2 in 2010. Okay.
Yep.
And then
do we count 3D World? Because I feel like maybe you do. It's not a 2D game, but it's not a 3D game. It's kind of a me.
Is it? Do you count that? I mean, I guess
it's very
3D World was 2013.
Yeah, I say we count 3D World in that. It's not in the lore of Mario.
But it's not a full-on.
Right. In the lore.
That's a poll. Is it actually a 3D Mario? It is.
Yeah, I'll set that up later.
Kind of.
Listen, okay, I love 3D World. I finished it. So, I mean, I don't know. I still play it to this day. I love it.
Yeah. Other than that was it. And then we had Odyssey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's still, I mean, even then, let's say 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, that's 4 years.
4 years, yeah. So then 7 at least. And by the way, that literally is at least 7. So
I don't know if I can count that as a full on. I don't know if I count that.
They could really.
It is called 3D World.
How crazy would it be?
It really works against my argument here. The fact that it's called 3D World, but still,
it's just crazy.
It's not a full-on 3D Mario.
It is though. It's not in the way the 3D Mario games traditionally go. But I just feel like it fits the 3D. It's called 3D World. Crying out loud.
Okay, I want to see this. What did I say? 2010 to 17.
Yeah, forget about 3D World.
That would be Galaxy 2 in 2010.
In 7 years.
To 17 would be like 7 years.
So that means next year, new system, new Mario. 7 years.
Yeah. We cracked the case. It's done. Next year, Mario.
Dude, new system, new Mario. New system, new Mario. New system, new Mario. Not that I think I'm like the what's his name from crap. I had a good funny joke and I lost it.
You already ruined it.
I
ruined
done. My joke.
Just kiss it goodbye.
Yep.
I'm glad you tried though. Really glad you tried. It was awesome. It was an awesome try. But
new system, new 3D, new Mario. New system, new Mario. So that's been the theme twice in a row now because the Wii U came out just a year after the whatchamacallit game, the Galaxy 2, right?
It didn't come out. It was announced.
Okay. So Nintendo Switch, new Mario game. Nintendo Switch 2, announcement of a new Mario game. It seems like a correlation.
I think yes. I mean, obviously we're getting a new 3D Mario with the new system. I mean, he's the guy. Obviously, we're getting that. I don't think that's crazy to even. Yeah, obviously. I don't think we see that in the Direct in September this year. I don't know what we see. That's kind of what I was talking to you about yesterday. I'm kind of in the area now with everything with the Switch. We're so deep into the Switch's life now, and we know the next thing's coming, probably next year. It's really, really hard to even try to predict what we're going to see, what's going to be that end couple of games, the end, big blockbuster games for the Switch, because are they going to just save them? Like, we haven't seen a Star Fox on the Switch. They're not giving up on Star Fox. They made a Star Fox for the Wii U, and the Wii U was terrible.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't seen that. We haven't got a Donkey Kong. But do they save these things? Are they going to put them on the Switch? At this point, it's like big franchises like that. I just feel like, why? Why put them on the Switch now? They could look better and probably, maybe sell more on the Switch too. I don't know. I mean, you do have the install base. There is that. I don't know. It's just, we're at such a weird point in the Switch's life. I don't even know what I would, if it hasn't been leaked completely, I don't even know what to predict that would be at this.
Yeah. I don't feel like predictions are really necessary. I think we'll see stuff as we see it. I think there's been plenty of our episodes, let alone internet, that has gone over what we could see here coming up soon. I guess the question really is, do we see it? And when we see it, is there anything, I guess we'll end off with this. Is there anything significant that, assuming there's a Direct next week, is there anything significant that they could announce that's within the realm of possibility? Or is everything going to be like mid-tier stuff, not like
honestly,
the high-tier
man, at
stuff?
this point, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Because the last Direct we got Mario Wonder, and that you could consider that a high-tier game.
But even then, I was like, yeah, that's high, but I'm like, because it's a 2D Mario though.
We thought Tears of the Kingdom was going to be the last big hit for the Switch before the Switch is phased out. Then we got Mario Wonder. So now that we got Mario Wonder, is there another trick up Nintendo's sleeve for the Switch, which is most likely on its way out here in the next?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, what if we're just completely wrong and they're like, yeah, we do have a Direct, but it's not a Direct, it's a special event. And we're going to show you what the new console is.
Dude, it's very possible this next Direct could just be like an indie showcase. We haven't had one of those in a while.
It's true. Usually we get one before the September Direct too. Haven't.
Yeah.
But then again, these indie developers, they may be like, listen, we're not worried about that. We know Switch 2. We're trying to get our stuff on there. Like, yeah. We're not releasing stuff right now. We're waiting.
And if they're showing people,
I mean, depending on what is, I don't know. I mean, other stuff that's on like PC and like Steam that's brought over. I mean, those little things, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This one's just it's so hard to predict right now just because of where we're at.
Yeah. I think the next thing we need to predict correctly is when the Switch is Switch. Every question besides that matter the Switch 2 has to come first before we answer all these other questions. Like,
yeah, for the other domino to fall, we need the answer to that question.
Only Nintendo knows when the next Switch is coming, so for them it's clear what's happening in the future. But for us, until we know when that last domino is going to fall, we could. Your guess is as good as mine as far as when we knock over the between dominoes. Yeah, man. I think next week, dude, it's kind of precursor for next week. I feel like unless we get some big news, like a direct, I think next week is talking about the Switch 2 again. Much as some of you guys might get upset about that. I think there is some Switch news out there that
there's so much to talk about. Always.
Yeah, I think there's Switch 2 stuff is next week. So just prepare yourself for that. But it seems like there might be some incredible stuff. So that'll be for next week, though. So Drip, anything else before we head off here?
Nope.
Oh, Mega Boy, that's a great point. Mega Boy does bring up a good point. And this is the perfect time to bring it up at the very end of the podcast. I did leave a message for the YouTube audience out there. I left in our community section on YouTube. I left a message congratulating Charles Martinet. And so we heard this news a while ago, but we officially did get that that video that they said they were going to give us with Charles Martinet. And who was in the video with Charles Martinet? Was it Miyamoto?
I don't know. I only watched like one tiny part of it.
I think it was Miyamoto, if I'm not mistaken. It was Miyamoto and Charles Martinet.
That sounds like the guy who should be there. Yeah.
Martinet is, if you didn't hear, Martinet is the voice of Mario. He has been for a long time, and he is stepping down as voice of Mario, and he is stepping into the ambassador shoes. He's going to be traveling the world, I guess, talking to fans, doing his Mario impression. It's the impression. He's doing his Mario voice because he is Mario. And
not an impression. It's actually him.
It's actually him.
He owns it.
It's his
copyright.
Voice. Yeah. He'll be doing his Mario voice around the world, celebrating the love of Mario with the rest of the universe. So, congratulations to him. But yeah, that's whatever. Yay! Play a yay sound, Drip. Do the thing. Yeah, congratulations, Charles. I don't know. For a long, not retirement, but stepping into a new role. And that's going to be interesting to see who they replace him with. I'll say this too before we go. Nintendo did make a statement, Drip, that they're not going to reveal who's replacing him until you roll the credits yourself in Mario Wonder. That's how that's going to be. That information is going to get. It's like yourself when you play the game. They'll show you the name of the Mario. So,
wow. Why?
I guess they don't care all that much. It seems to me they don't care all that much about who the voice of Mario is. So
it's Chris Pratt.
It's Chris Pratt, everybody. But anyway, no, it's not. And but this podcast is over, guys. If you're in the stream, make sure to hang out. Don't leave. We're gonna be hanging out in the after show. But for those of you listening on the audio side of things, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.